The Nigeria-South Africa Chamber of Commerce hosted its January breakfast meeting in Lagos. It was an opportunity for the business community to understand the operations and trajectory of the Nigerian Immigration Service in delivering its mandate as provided in the Constitution. Representing the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Mr. Muhammed Babandede, MFR, the Comptroller Services Headquarters, Mr. Kunle Osisanya, gave an overview of the activities of the NIS, the layout of the proposed Visa Policy 2020, the Visa on Arrival Policy, and the outlook for 2020 and beyond.
Section 2 from A to F of the Immigration Act 2015 spells out the immigration duties in Nigeria in this form: the control of persons entering and leaving Nigeria. That control usually takes three basic forms. Control before entry. That is when you try to get your visa. We do 1 or 2 checks. Control at the port of entry. That is at the airport, at the land border, especially where a well-dressed ladies smile at you and, endorse on your passport. There's also control after entry. We issue travel documents to Nigerians in Nigeria as well as outside Nigeria, including in Johannesburg. We issue resident permits to foreigners to reside and to work in Nigeria. We embark on border surveillance and patrol. We also enforce our laws, and we perform paramilitary duties within or outside Nigeria. For our information, immigration officers also go on what we call peacekeeping missions. And that is the law that enables, that's the requirement that enables us to do that. In performing enforcement of immigration laws, that's one of our services. We do that through monitoring of hotels and lodges. This aspect of our job is very, very important because that is the main way we can actually have that control after entry. Lots of people, once they pass through the border, you don't even know what they are up to in the country. So the only way to know is through monitoring the activities. But I want to assure you that we do it in a manner that we do not abuse their fundamental rights, we do not intrude on their privacy, but we are doing it, although we wish we could do it better. At the same time, when doing it, we call on the cooperation of business people. Quite a number of times when our officers go on such monitoring visits to establishments, they face a lot of intimidation. Some people feel that why should they come and ask after their expatriate, that they are embarrassing them. But please, it is a legal requirement to monitor them within the country. Some other things we do with respect to enforcement is the repatriation of irregular migrants. What do I mean by irregular migrants? Those who came into the country legally, with proper visa, they have their proper documents, and they have an immigration status. But for one reason or the other, that immigration status changes. Maybe their documents have expired, and they remain in the country. So from regular, they become irregular. This is different from illegal. Illegal are the ones that come into the country without any documents at all. That is why we try to avoid calling people illegal migrants or illegal aliens, except they enter a country without documents at all. And I say, going forward, I hope we too will be mindful of the difference. So a person who came in normally, proper documents, but circumstances have now made him to become an overstayer. It is important we understand what those circumstances are, rather than to label them as criminals or as illegals. We execute deportation orders. In addition, we receive Nigerian returnees, because as we deport and repatriate, so Nigerians outside are deported and repatriated, and it's part of our responsibility to receive them. We also have a plan under the prospects now to introduce what we call temporary passports. Currently, if a Nigerian abroad loses his passport and wants to return home, we issue emergency travel certificates. Unfortunately, that document in our opinion, is not fit for travel. No security, nothing, you don't link it to anything. But the temporary passport will be linked to the passport database. So even though it is temporary, we can always track you. We can always track you. Then also, prospects, we are trying to introduce what we call passport express centers. Just places where people can be comfortable, like some of your banking halls and your corporate halls. Yes, we may be a government agency, but we too are trying to copy some of those good things that you people do. So as we go forward trying to do it, please support us. Nothing wrong with if some of you just one day come and say, oh, this place, we hereby donate 1 hall for attending to passport applicants. At this point, let me just now briefly touch on what we call the visa on arrival for citizens of African Union countries at airports. Of course, sometime last year there was a lot of controversy. Some said, the president, visa free. Hey, militants, we enter Nigeria and all that. The president never said visa free. If you go to his Twitter handle and that of his PA Bashir, this is what the president announced. Visa on arrival for citizens of African Union countries. Visa on arrival for holders of passports of African Union countries. We are being careful not to use visa on arrival for all Africans because there are some Africans who don't carry African Union passports. So they are not to benefit from it. This is for those African Union countries because the initiative was from the African Union. Part of the essence is to promote integration in Africa, to promote trade in Africa. It is easier for people to go to Dubai, to go to London, to do business than to go from here to South Africa to do business. This is one of the ways of removing those barriers. And going forward, it will also aid, that Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement to promote trade, between our countries. It is very, very important. So as business people, take cognizance of that visa. There are other benefits of that visa. For those of you who might be planning to float an airline, this visa is capable of turning Nigeria into an aviation hub in Africa. Very much like what you have in Ethiopia. But we need an airline. That is an opportunity. For those of you who intend to arrange tourism packages, this is going to bring opportunity. So in case you have not registered your tourism outfit, I think it's time to go and start doing so.
Mr. Kunle Osisanya speaks further on the proposed Visa Policy 2020 and its implications for business and economic environment.
The draft Nigeria Visa Policy 2020 is in 3 broad categories: short visit visas, temporary resident visas for those who intend to work and live in Nigeria, and then the permanent residence visas. It is proposed that we have about 79 different classes of visas. There will be visas for Nigerians in the diaspora. That is the first. It intends to introduce a visitors visas. It will enable multiple entry to 5-year business and social visas for those countries that offer us such facilities. It will enable us to formally reciprocate. And also, there are visas for those who retire in Nigeria or those who retire abroad but want to come and resettle in Nigeria. It is a very proactive and innovative visa which seeks to address every kind of situation that warrants a visit to Nigeria. The current STR visa system is going to be unbundled to over 30 different classes. In all, like I said, we'll be having about 79 classes of visas. The objectives are to align with the federal government's program on the economic recovery and growth 2017-2020. This visa will contribute to achieving the objectives. Also, the mandate given to the Minister of Interior on security, the economy, transparency. This visa will enable the attainment. Also, it will bring Nigeria's visa to be in tandem with global best practice in visa administration.
Also, the Comptroller Nigeria Immigration Service at the Muhammed International Airport Mr. Abdul Usman, also gave updates on measures taken to address the global coronavirus at the airports.
The preparation is very adequate because since we had the issue of Ebola 2014, about that, the port health are very apt. They've not relented their efforts. And at the moment, this emerging virus that just came in, coronavirus, all the law enforcement, the frontline immigration officers who are at the frontline are properly kitted with first aid in line with the professional advice given by the port health services. And more so again, now we always share gender declaration to the foreign authorities at any given time aircraft landed.
Chairman of the Nigeria-South Africa Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Felicia Phillips, gave his takeaway from the presentation of the Nigerian Immigration Service.
I think today's revelation, if I can use that word, was very, very welcome, and one that the business community would certainly congratulate the Nigerian Immigration Service for the kind of initiative that they've taken. They have responded clearly to the demand that the Nigerians and Africans and people around the world have actually asked for, in terms of how can we provide some kind of a facility from an immigration and movement point of view that permits us to speak to that which we say we want to achieve. That is, drive investment, make Nigeria a much more business-friendly environment, get more and more people to come into the country in a way that we put our money where our mouth is. Now, the policies and the new visa regime that's being proposed, it's very aggressive, it's very visionary, it's going to take a lot for it to happen, but I believe that conceptually the NIS, they've got their act together and they've got their plans made. What is much more interesting is that it's a bigger program than just the visa. It's about data collection, it's about data management, it's about data analytics, it's about trying to identify who is a Nigerian, where is he, what's he doing, both here or anywhere else that they might be in the world. And also anybody who visits us, who are you, what are you doing, and can we monitor your movement and what is it that you're up to. So generally speaking, I think this is the launch of a new era. If this initiative is approved by the President, we're going to definitely see significant improvement in the way and manner in which people come in and out of the country. An interesting point that was raised is the issue of reciprocity. We are talking on the platform of the Nigerian South Africa Chamber. We are hoping that the South African government will reciprocate this gesture that the Nigerian government is putting in place, whereby any any African that's a member of the African Union can actually come into Nigeria, arrive at the airport, and get visa on arrival. I think that's a phenomenal, change, and very few countries do it around on the continent. I know Rwanda does it, but it's not that Nigeria, for its size and its intention to do this, it's a good idea. So all in all, I'm extremely pleased, quite excited. The next challenge is how these things are going to be rolled out, how they're going to be implemented, how they're going to be communicated so that everybody knows that this is a new game and this is how it's done, and therefore with that knowledge can conveniently take advantage of it.
The planned rollout of the Visa Policy 2020, which seeks to increase the visa classes from 6 to 79, is a welcome development if approved by the President, and will go a long way in repositioning Nigeria as a leading investment destination in Africa and the globe.